Whenever we come across challenges in life, we may hear this phrase by other people that we speak to: just get on with it. Another way of saying that is keep calm and carry on. And it might be in challenges when we're feeling frustrated or we're conveying some sense of unfulfillment, or, we're struggling with some type of other emotion, fear, anger, whatever it might be. There's something bugging us and we feel a need to speak about it. But in a social setting, whether it's with our family or others, we can hear this phrase: just get on with it. Come on, just get on with it. Keep calm, carry on, get on with it. And I want to explore that because there are times in life where you can hit phases where you can't just get on with it, where no matter how hard you try, you're struggling to keep calm and carry on. And so we need to look at those moments in life, and find some way of turning them into an opportunity that helps us to live more. Because there is value in those experiences, and panning it off with just keep calm and carry on, or just get on with it, can have huge consequences. These words can be, pretty cutting sometimes, and they can actually hit us in our center and balance us and make us go, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm overthinking this. I'm overanalyzing this. I need to just get on with it. And in those moments, it can really help us to find the resilience we need to do exactly that. Just get on with it, in spite of the challenges we're facing. So there is a time and a place for it. However, in modern society, this phrase has become a catchphrase that people just use because it's what they've heard, or because they are struggling with their own problems, they can't listen to yours, or they are worried about you and therefore they just want you to just, carry on with it, keep calm, get on with it. So there are many reasons why people use this phrase, and it's not always to try and be, it is to try and be helpful, but it's not always the effect, which we'll come to. So the issue with this phrase is that in our societies, it's becoming, or has become, used as some form of, yeah, this guy, he just gets on with it. Or, yeah, you just get on with it, and that's what makes you masculine, that's what makes you a man, or that's what makes you a strong woman. People, they just get on with it. They never complain about their problems. They're tough, they're resilient, they're strong. And this is a huge misconception around what that just getting on with things means. It can mean that stuff, but it also cannot. And that's why we need to explore the downsides of just getting on with it. You see, just getting on with it is so often used by people as a way of suppressing what's going on and running away from the problem at hand. And as you might have learned from our last podcast on pain and the purpose of it, when you have symptoms that come up of unfulfillment, of struggling, whatever it might be, a relationship, a job, a child, it could be anything, your diet or whatever. There's a problem that comes up that you're trying to solve. You don't really, necessarily know how, and you're just trying to communicate that struggle. When someone says, "Just get on with it," and keep calm, just carry on, it makes you, if you're not overanalyzing, if you're not needing those words to help you realize you do need to just stop overanalyzing, take a breath and carry on. If you're actually dealing with something that needs attention, then just keeping calm and carry on now becomes a distraction of carrying on until you no longer can. You see, in the body and in the mind, if there's something that needs our attention, we must give it that. Otherwise, we're suppressing the calls from within. And that is not a good idea. It might be what we need to do to bide us time to getting to a place where we can give this issue more attention, try and problem solve it, try and work through it. But the call from within of this, discontent or this unfulfillment or this frustration or this resentment or this anger, whatever it might be, or this not knowing how to fulfill your purpose or what goals to make or whatever it might be, that is coming up for a reason. And it might be, as I said, that you're overthinking. And so when people say just get on with it, that will be helpful. But if it's actually deeper than that, there's more to it than that. And your system wants you to look at it to find out what that is, to feel it, to learn from it, to grow from it. If you suppress that, then you're suppressing your potential. You're suppressing your inner guide, if you like, your own wisdom and your ability to find it. And that is where just keeping calm and carrying on is a huge problem. And so the calls from within have to shout louder and louder and louder. And you just keep carrying on and cracking on and trying to get on with it, catches up with you and has huge consequences, whether it's physical, mental, social, and you're not dealing with the problem. And so there are times then where that is the last thing you should do, is just keep calm and carry on. Keep calm, that's fine if you want, but don't carry on with the problem. Find a solution to it. Whether that's working with someone, whether that's actually just letting yourself just feel the challenge at hand, that then allows you to learn and grow from it. So it's not as simple as just keep carrying on. That can be a huge sign of weakness in that you're suppressing the challenge at hand. It's like having a fire in the house and just carry on with it. It'll be all right. Get on with it. It's like, well, the fire's coming this way. Just keep calm, carry on, whatever. You're just overthinking it. Yeah? That is not a good strategy. There are benefits to it, but when you're in a challenge and you're told to keep calm and carry on, it can be absolutely meaningless and actually destructive. It can keep you steering away from what the very thing you need to do to heal, to feel, to learn, to grow, right? And live your life better. I had an example of this, as I've explained before, gone through challenges in my life, certain traumas and fears, anxieties, panic attacks, things like this, and chronic pain. And I was often told that when I was struggling and not knowing how to change my circumstances and trying to find a way to do it and trying to find the solution and the answers, I was often told, just get on with it. It'll be all right. It'll all work its way out. Just get on with it. Or, just keep calm, carry on. I heard these phrases and they infuriated me. Because carry on with what? Just get on with what? All this disaster, this mess? I don't want to carry on. This is the very thing I don't want to do, is just carry on like this. I want to change this. I just don't know how. And so there was a perfect example of how just keeping calm and carrying on just meant absolutely nothing to me. And I didn't know what it meant. And worse, when I asked people who said this to me, and they said it, the people that said it to me were, most of the time out of love, sometimes frustration, which I can understand too. I would ask them, what does that mean? What do you mean by just get on with it? And almost always the response would be, I don't know, you just get on with it. Well, how do you get on with it? You just do. Which, when you're struggling to get on with something, that is not helpful at all. But then I asked my mum that question. And, because she would say that as well. You just got to get on with it. And I asked her, it's like, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? I'm struggling. Like, I don't know how to get on with this. I don't know how to keep calm and carry on. My whole mind and body are in a state of screaming at me. Like, I'll just carry on like this? So she simplified it. She had to think about it because, like everyone, we're in this catchphrase of just saying it. When she actually sat down and thought about it, she said, what I mean by just getting on with it is getting on with just being the best you can be. Just being. In spite of those challenges. And that meant something, that gave me something. That gave me something that was like, okay, hang on. This is actually, those words instead of being added sense of failure, which is how I felt when people were saying it, and seeing other people just seemingly getting on with it, which, by the way, when you see a lot of people just, getting on with it, a lot of them are just suppressing it, which is why we can, suppressing the problem at hand and not actually dealing with it. And that's why these people that we thought were super, super strong, we eventually hear that they were really struggling behind the scenes because their tact of just getting on with everything, caught up with them. It's not always the way, of course, but this is the point I'm trying to make. This is an unspoken way that plays out. And I see this in practice a lot, whether it's in my chiropractic practice or coaching, that people's struggles, that sometimes they do need to be told to just get on with it. But I would say that overall, that's quite a rare occasion. Usually it's that their intelligence within is saying that something isn't right and they actually need to face it and just pause and look at it so that they can feel from it, learn from it, and grow from it and be better for it. So that truth that my mum gave me was just this reminder that, okay, just getting on with it. I need to remember to use that as an affirmation to getting back to being who I am, to being the best that I can be. That's what just getting on with it really means. And if we can use it in that way, then it's always going to bounce us back in the right direction. If that really helped me, those words really helped me. It was a way of helping me realize that the solution to this was in a sense carrying on and getting on with it, but getting on with being myself and leaning into what myself was saying and stop trying to carry all these rocks in my backpack and walk on because that's a sign of strength. Nothing affects me. Like, you run another 40 miles, mate. That bag is going to catch up with you. So my mum saying that to me just really helped simplify things and reminded me that actually I wasn't weak and pathetic in what I was doing because I was getting on with it. I was carrying on, but I was carrying on with the most important thing, which was being myself and honouring how I felt and honouring what needed to be learnt and grown from. That is what I was doing, and it involved pausing and it involved talking things out and releasing stuff. And for so long, I'd felt like that made me weak somehow because I wasn't like people that I, admired who just get on with things and never complain. So that was massive for me. When you are in a phase where you feel like you are struggling to get on with it, when you're struggling to carry on, and you're hearing people say, just keep calm, carry on, just get on with it. Reflect. Do those words resonate with you? If so, then maybe you are overthinking, overanalyzing, and dramatizing things, and actually those words are blinking helpful. But if not, then don't. Don't try and just keep calm and carry on. Don't just get on with it. Do the opposite. As I say, pause, get present. What is the problem at hand? And you don't have to do that on your own. But the process has to involve you looking at the problem, putting the fire out in the house. That type of approach. And remember, when you hear people say it, try and often it will be said sometimes in derogatory ways that make you feel weak and more like a failure. But that's their problem, not yours in that sense. It's people struggling with their own problems, not necessarily knowing how to deal with them, or worrying about you and not really knowing how to help you. So, the easiest catchphrase that people say is just get on with it, right? But if you hear that, try and use that as an affirmation to remind you what it is you have to get on with, which is, as my mum said, she's right, is getting back to being who you are, being the best you can be in spite of the challenges at hand. And remember that stopping and looking at that challenge at hand can be the very thing that you need to do. And that is strength. Strength is not suppressing it and never dealing with it. That is weakness, if we want to call it that. The strength is going, this isn't working for me. I need to stop and take the pebble out my shoe, take the rock out my backpack because it's weighing me down. It's stopping me from living and fulfilling my potential, being who I am. So, Be mindful of that modern day catchphrase and the pitfalls with it, and just be honest with yourself. And you'll be able to use that phrase and those times where you're struggling to do the wise thing, to do the thing that is right for you. There's probably more we can talk about on this topic, but I hope that helps. Don't keep calm and carry on. Don't just get on with it if it's not in your heart what you know you need to do. Use that strength. Use the strength of your unfulfillment, of your frustration, or whatever it might be with its relationship, a job, or a dietary plan, or your goals, or your children, whatever it is. Feel it. Learn from it. Grow from it. And remember that to do that can involve you stopping what you're doing, stopping just getting on with it, stopping carrying on, and just being with the truth of what you need to do. Hope that helps.